Once in a while, you just want to waste some time.
Illustrations by Pete.
So in this video, I'm going to show you a technique just to waste some time. It's monochromatic, work on some skills, maybe make some shapes, some details, and just let the time pass. This one took me like 2 hours to get done, and in the end, it wasn't much to look at, but that's okay. It wasn't about that for me. I was just wasting some time. I actually did this as an extra video while I had some people visiting, and I couldn't really make any noise. I couldn't talk to a camera. I couldn't do any kind of voiceover stuff. So I just went and made an extra video, wasted some time, took about 2 hours, and I was very happy with that. I was just enjoying the process, even though in the end it looks a little flat. I could have added more color, I could have added more details, I could have made it a little bit nicer. It doesn't matter. I was just doing this for fun. This is a great way to fill up a page in your sketchbook and not worry about anything else. Not the details. Does it come out perfect? Is it wonderful? Don't worry about it. This is something you just do for fun. Alright, let's get into it. So like I said, this took over 2 hours. I think it was like 2 hours and something. I don't remember. It's just over 2 hours to do. It doesn't look like a lot. It doesn't look like this should have taken me that much time, but because of the way this is done, when you wind around and then you eventually start overlapping those shapes, you end up with more textures that you can put those lines if you want to. You don't have to make this big if you don't have that kind of time, but this is just about having fun with art and not doing anything specific. Just putting some random lines on a page with some watercolor, giving it a little bit of texture with some ink, and not too much. I didn't do too much detail. I could have went crazy and put a ton of detail. I also could have done a lot more with the watercolor and made multiple colors and that kind of stuff. And feel free to do that if you do something like this. And it doesn't have to be these swirls either. They can be blocks or circles or anything else. I just like doing the squiggly line thing and kind of wrapping everything around each other. I think it looks nice. It's just intriguing me, the patterns that created in this kind of thing. So I guess if I was pushed a lot harder, I could do so much more with this. But really, like I said, I was having fun with it. I didn't even know I was going to make this a video. I turned the camera on just because I turn the camera on every time I do anything, just in case I want to make it a video. And I started thinking about what would I say in a video about this. Of course, nothing about the painting actually came to mind. It was more about other stuff that I would be talking about. But I did want to say, you know, there's a lot of people who don't have time for art. And then there's people who have plenty of time who just don't know what to do. And that's a real problem. I understand that if you sometimes you sit down and you think, all right, I finally have time to do it. And now I'm not motivated, because you very rarely have I ever found that I am motivated at the time I sit down. It's usually after I start that I get excited. It's usually after I start doing something and I see what I'm doing, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, I could do this here, and I could do a little more here, a little more here. Then I get excited. But up until that point, sometimes I don't. And that's what happens when you're busy. When you're busy, usually, and then you finally get some time to do something, you don't want to waste that time. You're like, okay, I finally have time to do it. Now what do I do? So sometimes I do something like this, something much smaller in a small sketchbook, just to waste some time and get some juices flowing about what I might want to do on a painting or on a drawing. But this time I just said, you know what, I'm just going to fill a whole page with this, see how much time it takes me. I don't even care, because it was in the middle of the night basically. I probably started this around, let's say, midnight or 1 o'clock, and then it took me over 2 hours. So I didn't really have anything else going on. My brother and his new girlfriend, or not so new girlfriend, about a year, but I haven't seen them yet. He doesn't live close by at all. So finally they came to visit, and I got to sit down with her and talk with her a little while. She probably learned way too much about me. And there's like 11 years difference between me and my brother. That's a lot of time. So some of the stuff I was saying, he probably didn't even know about me, because it was some of the stuff that was going on when I was growing up. And it was a lot of information. So anyway, but we had a great time. And then, let me tell you, then we had a barbecue like 15 people came into the house. 15 people were in. But I have to tell you this because it might have been my favorite moment in the entire weekend. There was this little girl, she's a twin, and she didn't talk a whole lot up until recently, and she's 3 years old, very sweet little girl, and she's standing at the top of the stairs, and we have a little playroom upstairs for the kids. It's set up a little bit for my nephew, and then the other kids. There was 4 kids under 4 years old, or 4 and under, if you can picture that. Anyway, so they were playing in the playroom, and she's standing at the top of the stairs, and her dad leans over to her and says, "Okay, it's time to get your pajamas on." And she looks at him and she goes, "Not today," and she runs away. And that was the funniest moment of the whole weekend. It was my favorite moment. I laughed so hard I couldn't even breathe. And probably she's used to hearing it from her parents. She's not really trying to be like smart about it. She just probably asked her parents something and they said not today, and she picked that up. And for a little girl who really didn't speak a whole lot, even just a little while ago, just a couple months ago, was really not speaking very well, and then all of a sudden she just comes out with these funny things. She's hysterical. And just talking to her the whole time that they were at the house, she is absolutely hysterical. It was an incredible moment. That was my favorite moment by far. I don't remember what I think I was talking about what happened here in the video. Anyway, I had people visiting. My brother and his girlfriend were staying here. Everybody else was not. They just came for a barbecue. It was nice. It was the 4th of July weekend, so that's just how it was. So anyway, they were up in the bedroom that was across from where I do this recording, so I didn't want to make a lot of noise. It's already midnight. I don't want to, disturb anybody, so I just said, I'm just going to do some art. I'll turn on the camera, see what happens. And I could have done a lot better with this. But matter of fact, the last video that I did, that was more of what I actually wanted to do again. I enjoy that style. I enjoy making some shapes and then putting some weird textures on it. Sometimes it looks like muscle or something like that. That's just what I like to do. But in this one, I wanted to make some swirls, so that's what I did, and varying degrees. It was almost like a shades of gray type video where you just use multiple shades, different values of gray, and then you just put them on the paper. But I was doing it with the Payne's Blue Gray from Daniel Smith, making it watercolor. I could have done this with marker as well. It wouldn't have been a problem. It probably would have given me a lot more smooth result, a lot more uniform result. But it doesn't matter. That's not necessarily what I was going for. I just I put a light wash down first, then I went a little bit darker, and a little bit darker, a little bit darker, until I got to the darkest shade that I wanted to get to. And that was it. It was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. And then I said, well, I'm going to add some ink to this. I'm going to add some texture, kind of make it a complete drawing for me, my style, what I like to do. So that's what I did. I put down some ink. I didn't put down too much. I outlined all the lines, and that's something about this. This technique, when you do this, what you're going to end up with is a lot of overlapping lines with a lot of extra detail that you can fill in if you want to. And I did that on the surrounding lines. I didn't fill it up with texture, but I did outline all the lines that I saw, and that just added so much more to the drawing. There was just a lot more effort and took a lot more time to do. And sometimes I do this in a small thing, just to get the juices flowing, just to say, okay, what kind of things and patterns can I see that I can put in a video? And that's what or in a piece, not just always a video. I record when I can, but a lot of times I am away from the studio and I'm just drawing out sitting in a car somewhere, or sitting in a park somewhere, or sitting outside, or whatever I'm doing. And anytime that I'm sitting, I try to have something close by that I can just grab and start drawing or painting. Just something small and quick that I can get down. But what I did here was I said, I'm just going to turn this on and see what happens. And this is what happened. So you might like it, you might not like it, but it's something you can try. Even if it's just in a small square, you can do this a lot smaller than I did. And even the lines, you don't have to put these big thick lines when you do this. You can use very small lines, you can use very marker or whatever you want to use to do those lines. And just see how it comes out, add some details here and there with some ink, and see if you like it. I enjoy doing these, even though I don't like the way that they look necessarily at the end when I'm done with them, but I enjoy doing them. I just enjoy creating them. It gives me something to focus my mind on and just do whatever, and it doesn't even matter. This is the point of doodling. You just do stuff. So sometimes it's not perfect. Sometimes it's not supposed to be anything. Sometimes it's just a doodle. That's all it is. And that's all it'll ever be. And I'm okay with that. I don't mind doing this at all. So speaking of the 4th of July, I also went to a local area where they had some fireworks displays that the residents in that little development were setting off. I don't know what it is about people, but here's the thing. It's a giant field. If you walk out into the middle of the field, you are far enough away from people that if you pointed it at someone, it probably wouldn't go near them and explode. But there are these people. We went on. Usually we go to one side where there's, just a bunch of houses on the other side of the street, and we're sitting on the edge of the field. But last year, there were people that were idiots and morons, and they were like tipping things over, and they were like just spraying everywhere, and just really dangerous things that people should not be doing. So this year we said, okay, we'll go on the other side of the field and just watch it from more of a distance. I don't mind that. I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. And we were by a kid's playground. It was filled with kids. There must have been 30, 40 kids inside this playground just having some fun, just watching the fireworks. Some of them were sitting on top of the swing bar. Some of them were sitting on top of the slide. Some whatever, just watching fireworks. Everything was wonderful. Then at the end, these morons go, 5 feet in from the sidewalk and just start setting off fireworks. They're setting off fireworks next to their big pile of fireworks that's like 5 feet away, like idiots. And some of them were duds. They probably got cheap, they were young, but they probably got cheap crap fireworks, and they barely went up into the air and popped, and it was too much for the kids there. I was trying to get out of the way of that. My nephew was there. We're trying to get him out of the way there. He got a little scared. We tried to get him into the car, and that was the end of that. And it just ruined everything because these people were morons. If you're going to do something like that, just be safe. It's exploding powder with colors. It's already dangerous. You don't want to do that around children, or at least do it the safest way, even for yourself, so you don't damage anything, that you don't hurt anyone you love or yourself. You don't damage any property. No cars get damaged. No houses get damaged. It's just do that. Next year, I think we're going to stick. We had a place, there was a little ice cream shop, and we used to go there and just get a little bit of ice cream and sit back and in their parking lot and look at the fireworks in the far distance. And we used to do that. I think we're going to do that next year, because this is just too much. It's just, people are stupid and they're idiots. It's nicer when people are much further away. When dumb people have things that explode that are much further away from you, that's always a better situation. So anyway, and a lot of people don't like that. I'm not trying to bring up a bad subject. Some people don't think anyone should have fireworks or set them off, and other people are just like, yeah, it's no big deal, whatever. And I've set some off before in my youth, and then not so much in my youth, but many years ago, and just set some. It's whatever it is, but just be safe. Just don't be stupid. If people would not be stupid, then it wouldn't matter. There would be no problem with any of this. So thumbs up the video if you know a moron who does things that are not safe, and you question their intelligence all the time, and sometimes to their face, and they don't like that. But if they would not do the dumb thing, you wouldn't have anything to question. All right, that's about it for me. I'm going to go, and I'll see you in the next one.